Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm so excited. We have with us today the lovely Big Freedia.
Down.
Honey
How
bun.
are you?
I'm good, I'm good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's really exciting. Are you having a blast?
I am. I'm really excited. You know, everybody is excited about the read. You know, I'm getting good reports all around the world.
Now, tell me a little bit about the process of coming up with the idea for the stories and going sort of all through your life and figuring out what you want to tell and what you don't want to tell.
Well, I mean, I have my publicist, who's also my co-writer, to thank for that. You know, she recorded me constantly on recorder.
For over the course of how long?
2 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it was like 2 months of constantly just telling stories.
Yes, constantly telling stories, going back to the different neighborhoods, recapturing the different moments, just all of the things that connected the book to actually get her a sense in a feel of where this actually took place at. And, you know, it brings back some memories that, you know, you try to suppress and keep, you know, shield and shelter, but
you got to be honest.
Yeah, got to be honest. You got to let it out, and it was an emotional process definitely for me, especially writing about KATRINA, or writing about my mom, my stepdad.
It was surprising to me that you were able to find your truth so early on, and you were like 12 years old when you realized you were gay, and at 13, on your 13th birthday party,
I was ready to tell moms that, you know, I was gay and that, you know, this is who I was. And moms already knew though.
Mom always knows.
Mama definitely always knows. She used to always do my hair, or I used to go to a hairdresser that used to give me these wild, crazy styles.
And this is like in middle school? This is like in what is this?
Well, this was high school. And I used to have my hair just like jacked up to the ceiling like Marge Simpson or somebody. And everybody would just be looking, and like, it would cause so much attention. The principal would call up, "Oh, Freddie's hair is causing too much attention." And my mom, "Well, they don't need to watch Freddie hair, they need to pay attention to their damn books." And she would hang up the phone in his face. You know, the next morning, of course, we talked about it. She cried, and, you know, of course, she asked me, did anybody harm me? I told her no, and, you know, from that day forward, just the protection of her, like putting a shield around me and just being there for me, she just started carrying me even more.
From the first page, like, she's just an amazing woman.
She was.
And we saw that on the show.
Very stern. Say what's on her mind. We'll curse you out. Love you the next second. That was Mama.
Tell me about the first time you heard Bounce. The first time you were at a school dance or something.
Middle school dance. Just like, you know, they playing all the new hits, and they're playing Jubilee, and they're playing all of the T.T. Tuckers and the DJ Jimmys and the DJ Irvs, all of the classic, you know, New Orleans bounce hits. Hearing this new music and knowing that it was a part of the culture of New Orleans, it was exciting.
You talk a lot about Hockey, the boy named Hockey.
Yes.
Who was, I guess it's fair to say, your first love.
You could say. I was working at the middle store, which was a store right across the street from the project that he lived in. And I used to work the late night window, and one night he came and wanted to get some snacks. And
he was just hot, and it was all over?
It was all over. He was short a quarter, and the girl gave him a quarter. And he was like, "Give me your number," and gave him my number, and it went from there.
How long were you guys together?
Almost 10 years.
10 years. And in 10 years, you could never say that you were together?
I mean, my family knew, certain people in his family knew. We just didn't want it like all over New Orleans. It was such a secretive thing for me to protect him, and kind of by me being in the spotlight, people always want to know, you know, who I'm dealing with, so I try to keep all of that very hush-hush. And it kind of makes things a little bit worse when, you know.
You're having to have this whole other life, and you're like living two lives. And,
yes.
Yeah.
But I finally made the decision or whatever to leave him alone, and then recently after I left him alone, then he was killed.
There's a lot of stories like that in your book where you're sort of going along with people, and then a page later, they've been gunned down.
That's New Orleans. That's the way it is. One day they're here, the next minute they might be gone, and you never know who it may be. When I was younger, that's why my mom then moved us from Josephine into a different neighborhood, trying to get us out of that same environment, and kept on pushing us in different directions, sending me off to college to get out of New Orleans, to stop seeing so much debt and so much turmoil in the community.
You especially saw it in KATRINA.
You know, I was no different than nobody else in New Orleans. You know, no matter if you had money, whoever you were, if you were, you know, a big name, when you were stuck in that situation, everybody was stuck. We were all fending for our lives.
Who were you with?
My brother, my sister, my newborn niece, and my uncle.
And how old is the newborn?
She was 6 months.
Oh my God. You're on a roof.
Right, we couldn't take the food. I mean, it was just a mess.
You see helicopters going by.
Helicopters flying by. You see other people in apartment complexes hollering and screaming from their roof. You see the guy across the street hollering from his roof. We screaming, hollering, cursing, like we're freaking out.
And then a boat finally comes and gets you, and then you go to
Superdome.
The Superdome, which is just hell on earth at this point. It's chaos.
Yeah. Tons of police, tons of guns. Don't come this way. Go to the convention centers.
And you're like, I'm not. You don't even want to go inside because
you can't go inside. They had guns stopping people.
You managed to get out when they started putting people on airplanes, and they just flew you somewhere. And you just end up at an army base.
Yes, in Arkansas.
And that's when you were able to call your mom, and your mom had gotten out, thankfully, before the storm.
Yes.
The interesting thing is that you end up performing in Houston afterwards.
Yes, and staying in Houston. The club promoter kept saying that. Everybody keeps saying, bring Freedia. And he was like, I gotta see who this Freedia is.
There was like a whole little gang of refugees in Houston, and they were all saying, we need a little Freedia right this very minute.
We need a Freedia fix. Yes.
In a way, you're starting to like spread the gospel of Sissy Bounce.
Yes.
A little bit. You're taking it out of New Orleans, and that's one of the first times that it starts infecting other areas.
Yes. All over. Bounce music went to hitting airwaves everywhere because people, you know, we were displaced all over the world, so people wanted to hear the music back from New Orleans. So they wanted CDs, email it to me, girl, I'll pay for it, however. So not just that, they started bringing the different artists around, and I was one of the artists who went all over.
One of the turning points was the New York Times article about you. When it was you and Katie, was it? And it was, I remember that actually. I remember it was like, we were all like, what is this Sissy Bounce that they're talking about? And that was just huge for your career.
It was really big. Like, one day I was just decorating the club and I was, you know, putting some stuff out my car, and two white guys was like running by jogging, and it was like Big Freedia, and it just freaked me out, like that they even knew who I was, and it was like they stopped and talked to me. They was like, we read about you in the New York Times, we love you, and just from that day forward, it just started happening, and people just started seeing me and knowing who I was. And I was like, this New York Times thing was really big.
Early on, you're brought in for like punk festivals and stuff. And there's an event in Hartford.
And it was the wrong bill to be on. I was between Snoop Dogg and Wiz Khalifa. And they were not there to hear any Sissy perform.
And you sort of ended up winning them over.
I did, and I wanted to get paid, so I still had the show must go on.
Another one of the harrowing stories was you got shot.
You know, I heard gunshots. I thought they was just shooting in the driveway, and I put my hand up, and I got shot in my hand.
Where?
Here, in my wrist.
And the bullet is still in there?
That's right.
Oh, is that the bullet right there? Can I feel it?
Yeah. My new tour is coming in the fall, the new season. All of that's going to be tied together. So I'm very excited about that.
You're double doing it,
Tour, the book, you know, the new album is going to be all out.
What's the new album? What's that called?
I'm still working title. We're almost there. I have a few titles, but
okay, not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
And how many tracks have you done so far?
About 9.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're almost there. I'm getting about 2 or 3 more, and then we're gonna make our final selections. And
it's so fun. Is this? I mean, it really must be. This must be like the best time of your life right now.
It is, and I'm blessed to be able to live out my dreams. A lot of my dreams have turned into reality, and I'm just blessed to be in a position to be who I am, you know, talking for the people that I represent and doing what I do and represent the culture of New Orleans and bounce music. Yay! Check out the new season, season 4, Big Freedia Queen Bounce on Fuse. This September, y'all check us out. It's going to be
And don't forget to subscribe to WOW Presents.